This is the last in a short series on triads. In the first 3 lessons, I showed how to play and practice triads, and this lesson focuses on learning how to play triad arpeggios in sequence to practice improvisation. When you first start improvising, you're going to get a lot of advice on which scales to learn and which modes to play, and those are important, but arpeggios and target notes tend to get overlooked. Target notes are essentially the notes that belong to a chord, and your improvisation can sound a lot more coherent if you manage to hit target notes on the strong beats. And outlining triads and chord progressions can really help find those target notes. And as you'll see in a minute, you can use scales to connect your target notes. Here's a chord progression in D minor. We've got D minor, G minor, A, and D minor. And this A could also be an A7. If you're playing triads, that doesn't matter so much. Whether we're playing an A major chord or an A7 chord, we're going to be outlining an A major triad. And what we're going to do is outline or arpeggiate each of these triads, and we want to keep them as close to each other as we can on the fretboard. So you could play your D minor triad arpeggio here. And if you do that, you could play your G minor arpeggio right here. Same fret, just on another string. And there's an A major arpeggio nice and close to that. There are other groupings you can try as well. This is a good way to get these started. So here's what they sound like all together. D minor to G minor to A major and once you've worked out the fingerings, you can add a little bit of rhythm to it. And now we're going to work on connecting some of these chord tones or target notes. So I'm still basically playing triads here, but what I'm doing is I'm connecting the root to the third with the scale tone. In this case, I'm using D minor scale. So here's our triad, D minor triad, and then connecting the root to the third with the scale tone. And G minor triad, and then connecting the root to the third with a scale tone. A major triad, same thing. There's your triad, and then connect root to the third with a scale tone, and then back to the D minor. And again, once you've worked out the fingerings, go ahead and add some rhythm. And try it in different areas of the fretboard as well. There's no rule that says you have to play your triad arpeggio starting on the root. You can start on the third of the chord instead. So these are the exact same notes, except instead of playing root 3-5, I'm playing 3-5 root. Here's my G minor, root 3-5, like we did before, now 3-5 root. And our A major, root 3-5, and then 3-5 root. And then once you've worked out those fingerings, add some rhythm. And we can use scales to connect these chord tones as well. Again, we're in D minor, so I'm going to be using notes from a D minor scale, and this time I'm going to connect the third to the fifth with a scale tone. So here's D minor, 3-5 root, and then we add a scale tone in between the third and the fifth. G minor with our 3-5 root, and then add a scale tone in between the third and the fifth. And A, same thing. Here's our 3-5 and root. and then connect the third to the fifth with a scale tone. And then D minor again. And of course, once you've worked out those fingerings, add some rhythm. So it's important to know how to play arpeggios and scales. Scales without target notes tend to sound like you're just practicing scales, and target notes by themselves sound okay, but they sound a lot more interesting when you can find ways to connect them. It's also important to learn how to play these ideas in different areas of the fretboard so you're not stuck in just one position. So once you've worked out an idea, see if you can play it a little lower on the fretboard, see if you can take it up an octave and play it higher on the fretboard. It's really going to help your improv if you spend some time playing triads over chord progressions. So try this approach with chord progressions from songs you like. Play everything in at least 3 positions, in the middle of the fretboard, at the end, and higher up. It takes practice, but if you do this enough, you'll start finding your target notes more and more easily. If you need some help learning the fretboard, check out my fretboard videos. I also have a free PDF called Learning the Fretboard, plus a Triads lesson PDF that covers the material in this lesson and the first 3 Triad videos. I'll put links to videos and PDFs in the description. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more guitar tips.